Hi everybody, I am Lady Stars and Fire, and this is our weekly healing messages for September 12th until the 9th. Now, if you follow me, or if you don't, either way, I always give us the healing messages that Spirit gives me, as well as through the runes right here each week, and then I mix it in with a little bit of astrology. I ask specifically that Spirit gives us guidance to help us move forward in the most positive ways, but also in healing ways, so that we can move forward each week. This is why I call them the healing messages and reading. If you follow me also, you would have known last week that I was giving us a little bit of like a 2-week jump as to what was going on with astrology, as so we could know that as we move past that, we're going to think things are going to start to be a lot better in our lives. However, we may not notice it right now, and you won't notice it right now. And in most cases, you won't notice it right now because there's a lot of harsh energy going on, and this has to do with the eclipse. And the reason I'm bringing this up before I go into the actual healing messages and astrology and the runes and everything is because I've had a lot of people come to me and was asking me a lot of questions, and they're just like, the energy's been so harsh and it's just been difficult, and so many things have just been up in the air. And yeah, that's gonna happen because you're in the middle of your eclipses. You just had 2 eclipses and you have another one this coming week on the full moon, but that's your last one. But eclipses, like I've been explaining to someone else, eclipses are there to change. They're going to make everything better in your life, but they don't really do it in a nice, loving way. They're more like a SWAT team that just kicked in your door and was like, this is happening and it's happening right now. So it's not exactly comfortable when we go through those eclipses because it feels like a lot of negative things, but that's because those things are being forced into that change, into like the melting pot, into stirring it so that the new can come out and be made. So it's not always comfortable when it's happening. I've also been having a lot of people telling me about their headaches or this feeling right in through here. Not necessarily a headache. This is also your third eye. It should be very active right now, but it might be very blocked and confused at the same time. And that's that changing of energy. That's that growth. And so that's okay. I have trouble doing my work too when I'm going through eclipses and major energy shifts. We all get a little out of whack. That's normal. So if you're having that pain, just be careful. Just be gentle to yourself. You know, doctor yourself. Take your rest. Get your meditation in. If you can stay calm long enough for it, get some salt baths to make yourself feel better. That's normal. You're going to feel those. And that negative energy that comes with all that change of that eclipse energy that's going on, as well as the fact that we are in retrograde. But I've had a lot of people asking me questions. For those of you who do hear spirit, or who do sorry, I got a hair in my mouth, or who do pick up those shifts from energy within their ears, that high tones, or that it feels kind of like you're being stabbed in the ear when you're getting that feeling, and not in a bad way. I don't mean stabbed like hurting, but like, you know, all of a sudden. Those usually are spiritual upshifts that are being given to you. And your right ear typically has to do with physical growth. So if you're getting them, you know, all of a sudden, or that high ringing, that right ear typically has to do with physical growth, as well as that physical growth is like forms of your spirit guides, your angels, spirit in general is helping you, and they know stuff that's going on. Now, you may not be able to understand the upshift, but your higher self does. And when it's coming in that right ear, it's telling you, do it. Take that action. Move forward. It's in your physical world that growth is taking place. This is information telling you outwardly something that you're going to be doing, or guidance that they are giving you outwardly. So when you're hearing them, you know, just try to calm down and listen, because even though you may not understand the words, your soul may, and it may come like an epiphany to you a little bit later. It's like, Now I know, and that's probably what that was. If it's in your left ear, that is more spiritual. And spiritual is more coming in, telling you to trust your intuition, as well as trust in your higher self. Trust in the idea of that intuition, what it's telling you, so that you can follow through with it. It's spiritually for in here. And I'm being told by Spirit, a lot of people are feeling that they are afraid of where things, all these changes, may be taking them. And I'm being told, because I said this in yesterday's Cosmos Itineraries that I put out a few times a week on Facebook, it's like emotional, spiritual wholeness coaching. But I was being told by Spirit, basically a lot of people are feeling that energy of kind of being afraid of where things are going, where things are taking them in the future, right now in their life, from all of these changes going on. And we're being told to understand, life moves at its own pace, not at the pace you necessarily want it to move at. Life is going to move at its own pace as to what is right and what is going on and what has to happen, not necessarily the way you want it to go. However, don't be afraid of failure, and don't be afraid to speak your truths. Have trust within yourself and follow through with your intuition. Now, Spirit is also giving me this week, and this is part of why I went into all of that at first, because I'm not being told necessarily that it's going to be an emotional week, but more of a what the how did that happen kind of week. You know, like just really up in the air and, you know, all over the place. Just what in the world was that all about? You're going to have a lot of that happen this week is what I'm kind of being told. And it's not necessarily going to come in that nice comfy feeling, because like I said, a lot of times with that eclipse energy, we can't help that the harsh changes that come about feel somewhat like a SWAT team just kicked in our front door. So I'm warning you, because what Spirit is giving me is actually very good information, but on two different levels. Because they usually give me animals because I am studying to be a shaman. So they use animals when they speak to me as far as how to get that communication across. Often. That's not always how they do it, but often. And they went prehistoric this week. They went straight back to dinosaurs. And dinosaurs are all about primal ancient wisdom. It is returning to Earth and returning to Earth and transforming of energy from within. This is dinosaurs, what they mean. Now, each dinosaur and how they're brought to you obviously has a different meaning. But I'm being told that typically the dinosaurs are about ancient wisdom, primal ancient wisdom, and transformation from within. Or it's about fear. Now, that part's for you to figure out in your life. It can be about, you might want to ask yourselves, what is your belief system? What are your values? Are they prehistoric to this time in your life? I mean, are you still living in prehistoric age as to what your values are and to what it is your personal, spiritual, whatever it is, your belief system is? Because this may be the reason why I'm being shown the dinosaurs, or it could be the thing of being afraid. Because I'm not being, well, dinosaurs are never really lovable in the first place. But what I am being shown is the raptors and a T-Rex. And I'm going to give you what their interpretations are, so that as this week goes on, you can see what those interpretations might have to do with your life to help you figure out where things are going. And I'm going to leave it up to you from there. Because what I'm getting is, what they're showing me is kind of like them coming forward and they're looking around. They're viewing. They're not really in attack, but you don't know when that's going to be. Basically, they're viewing things. They're really paying attention to their surroundings. They're viewing, but they are the raptor and the T-Rex, and so they're not. They're carnivores, basically. A raptor's information is all about ability to work in groups, intelligence. It is problem solving. It is camouflage, cunning energy, value of community, adaptability, sorry, ability to move and be unseen, speed and action. Again, Raptor is all about ability to work through groups, work in groups, intelligence, problem solving, camouflage, cunning energy, value of community itself. It is adaptability, ability to move through the world unseen, and speed and action. Now, a T-Rex is a little bit more hard. T-Rex are boldness. It is courage. It is strength. It is respect. It is self-esteem. T-Rex will rip you apart. It is also about your confrontational skills. How are you using them? So that has a lot to do with what's going on this week. Now, because that's what I'm being told by them. Now I'm going to go into the astrology and I'll come back for the runes, because the runes are really always what the healing energy is outside of what Spirit was giving us. Which mix it all together and it helps you have a better idea of what's going on for the week. Now, obviously I had started off saying that we have a full moon and an eclipse going on this week. That takes place on Friday. I'll start off with the most important part of it. It starts off on, the full moon and the lunar eclipse is on Friday. It is also in Pisces, but it is at the same time as the void, of course, for Aries. So right there says you're kind of all over the place in general. And the week leading up to it is a little bit of that very same energy. So just be aware of that. But let me give you an idea, because as we hit the full moon is all about letting us know what we need to let go of. Basically, what is it you need to release and change so that you can prepare for the new to start when the new moon comes. Now, it's all about letting us know what we need to shed, what is no longer needed in our life, what isn't serving you. And you're having that lunar eclipse at the same time, like I said, with Pisces, and it's in a void, of course, for Aries. Pisces is all about that trance-like state of consciousness. It's that meditation, that sleep, that prayer, that alcohol, that partying. It's all about being, how can I escape reality? How can it make it a little bit better, a little bit different, and how am I moving over it? How am I getting over to the next thing? That's what Pisces is. We are at our most susceptible to emotional assault when we are in Pisces, because we become fuzzy, we become dreamy, we become nostalgic, we become impressionable in general. We want to believe maybe a little bit better than things might be. So that might come in with that fuzziness, that dreaminess, that nostalgic. You might be remembering things a little bit better than it may have been. And that has to do, again, with that eclipse energy. It's going to force you to see things so that you can make that move. It's going to kick in these doors. It's the last eclipse. But when we're in Pisces, we're also at our most spiritual. But with us being at our most spiritual, that's also of spirit itself, we also have our boundaries down. We're at our thinnest within our boundaries. But that's also what makes it more capable for us to be more spiritual. It's like we let our guard down some. So we can really come from the heart a little bit more. Even though we're not always should be trusting the situation of others. Of yourself, yes, but not necessarily of others. It's a little bit weird on that one. But it's a great time to, do your spiritual work. It's a great time for your spiritual ceremonies. Because spiritually, you're on the right page. Not necessarily with others and their outward actions. But you are upwardly thinking of the positive, and you're trying to make things in the most positive actions of that. But we do tend to get in that trance-like state of mind. We're looking for the escape into the better from what really is. Just understand that. Now, like I said, that full moon is coming in with a void, of course, to Aries. Aries, on the other hand, is bold. It is impulsive. It is energetic. It's fussy and argumentative. So you're like, la, 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 next minute. You kind of can be either way. And it's passion, it's fire. It's great for new starts, but fire can blow out of control at the same time. So you want to just make sure, like I said, you don't go from festy to argumentative. You got to kind of keep your balance in there. And that is going to be a little bit hard for you to keep, your balance in there this week. You want to work on that. Aries, Aries is all about me first energy. Me first. How can I take care of me first so that when I move into my new starts and everything else, it can be exactly what I'm working for it to be so that me can be happy. It's not about not caring about others, but it is about having your own self-worth, your own self-value enough to say, I'm first this time. And that's okay. That's what you need to do. But you want to watch that you don't let it spin out of control and become a little stress-oriented either. Now, for the week in general, the moon starts off in Capricorn. So Sunday and Monday, part of Tuesday, I think. Sunday and Monday, Capricorn. And that's organized, practical, it's also methodical, it's dutiful, it's cautious, it's pessimistic. We're all about acting responsible and taking charge of our own lives. Then we move into Aquarius in the middle of the week. And Aquarius is the rebel within us. So it's basically when you're starting to get the balls to go through with what it is that you've been thinking of in Capricorn, if you didn't. But it is also where we find we want to go to extremes. We kind of want to go overboard with it. And we're all about abrupt changes. We're all about change of our routines and going with our own personal freedom. Our own unique individualness is what's coming out. Things become a little topsy-turvy because of that rebelness. Everything becomes a little bit more urgent. More now. Everything becomes a little bit more important than maybe normally it would have been. And that's just the Aquarius coming out in us during that time. And then, like I said, we slip into that that full moon, that eclipse in Pisces with, at the end of the week, on that day, we start to slip into Aries. So the whole week's a little bit like this. But I don't feel that it's necessarily emotional. I feel it's more like, this is going to change and this is going to change and I'm going to start fixing this and what in the world was that all about and how did that happen in the first place? And you kind of like walking back through and making those changes. But I'm being told it's definitely going to have those harsh moments. But, take care of yourself. Remember you have to be important to you. If you're not taking care of you, health is wealth. If you aren't taking care of you, how are you going to have a wealthy life? How are you going to have anything in life? Because there is no you. Now, this week, I'm starting off with Othal. I'm moving the runes over. Othal. Othal threw itself at me 3 times while I was trying to do the reading. So obviously it was the most important. Othal it's your ancestral, it's your property, it's heritage, and it's your homeland. It's the world of nations, it's Earth. It's also coming in my Muggle Stone, which is grounding of energy, creative of energy, as well as separating of energy for your empaths. It indicates the importance. It indicates the importance of the big issue, the larger picture. And that's what they're really trying to get at right now, is a big part of it, is don't look at the small picture. Don't get stopped by the illusion of what you're seeing in the memory or just the illusion in general. Look past it. Look past the big picture. Because this is what Othal is all about. It's saying, don't look at the picture that's in the frame. It's like, look at the frame, off the frame, stand back and see the whole wall. See the truth. See the whole truth. Don't just view the small parts. It is the whole family. It is the society. It is the nation. It may show the presence of the leader of the community or of the whole. It is the ruin of your own personal sacred space. Nobody can take this away from you. Nobody can take your home of your heart and your soul away from you. Only you can give that away by giving away your power. This is also about remembering your own self-value, your own self-worth, and your own power within. When I gotta turn the page. It is principle also of the homeland. The home, that is you, too. It is your inherited wealth. It is inherited property or inherited power. Seeing the larger picture, the true leadership. It is alliance of base support, powerful alliance, and freedom burn of security as well as wealth. Sacred enclosure, it is your personal burial mound. It is groups, social boundary. It is your social boundaries, separated different groups, prosperity and a closed, secure environment. So what are your closed, secure environments? What are these, where is all of this lying for you? Where is it in your homeland of what is important here, of your own self-worth? What is it about the true big story that is going on for you in your life? What is it that nobody can take away from you, as well as knowing that no matter what's going on, you're fine. It's you. It's the whole value of you in general, of your home, your family, the security that nobody can take away from you. Period. Even though things may be topsy-turvy. This is what they're reminding you. Now, the next one is Uraz. Uraz. And that one is coming in truth and honesty. Uraz is the seed. It is, the vital seed. It is the bull. It is the wild force. It is earth. It is, it indicates the shaping of events, situations through strength. It can show that determined will of a person. Strong connection also with health matters. So a person with health matters. So a healer may be indicated within the symbol. I'm going to learn to talk one day. Freedom, energy, action, courage, strength, understanding, wisdom, tenacity. It is the power of shape. It is the events and the directions and the purposes of the powering of that shape. It is creating of that shape, the very patterning of it. It is being able to grab a hold of it and harness it as it is being created. The pouring of your vital strength. The strength that burns away all weaknesses. It is a strong stance of action. But it is also good health, and it is also of good fortune. However, because it does deal with healing, it may deal with a healer as well. It may actually be dealing with the craft of healing in general, meaning like surgery. Things along that line. It may be coming into it as well. Then it is also talking to us specifically of our wildness, of our instinctual urges, of our untamable spirit, of our essence of matter that has yet to be manifested. Like I said, right now he's all about that patterning and that changing going on. So even though things are swirling around you, it's swirling for a positive reason. So even if you're topsy-turvy, try to stay positive, because the more positive you are, the more thankful you are for what it is you do already have, the more you will receive. You need to remember not to get stuck in negativity, because the negativity will take you the wrong way. Even though you may not be getting it the way you want, even though things may not be going at the pace you want, things might be throwing you into left field, remember, it is always important to stay positive for what it is you do have. Honey, you're alive. That alone is a gift. You got to remember these things, because it helps out a lot as we're moving forward into everything else. And the last one is Induous. Induous is the world of our inner experiences. It is our virtues, our common sense. It is our family, our human warmth. Focuses on the need to go inward and contemplate. Let something new start to take form. Stillness, gestation. It is a moment in the process or of its issues. A moment. It's like stillness for a moment. It's taking that moment to stand still and really evaluate inwardly. Indicates the sorry, I just wrote that. Reveal the need of meditation. No decision without proper thought. Inner nourishment is what it's all about. It's about withdrawal to allow that inner nourishment, that inner preparation to happen. Separation of the outer contact. But it is separating from the outer it's separating, but not separating. It's you're letting that go on around you, even though it's part of your life. That doesn't mean you have to like break up with it. It doesn't mean you have to let everything go. It's your inner nourishment right now. You're looking at you right now. It is the strengthening of your inner resources, the moment between the different states of being. It is achieving internal growth, necessary stasis, benefit from your inner force, from your inner forces. It is that hidden realm within you. Energy in order to bring release so that you can bring forth fertile energy. It is fertile rites of our magic and moving forward. I'm being told it also does have to do with that fertilization of Burkina and letting go of what's no longer germane, like exorcism of it. It is that magic of the goddess that's moving you forward. And that's really all that I'm getting for this week. So I hope that you have a wonderful week. I know that it's going to be a little tough because we still have that last eclipse, but you can do it. I believe in you. I know you can do it. Just stay positive. And remember, there's a bigger picture out there that you just don't see. And it's working its way into having the perfect life for you. Just believe in it. Just stop questioning and know that it's going to take you there. As long as you believe. Hugs and kisses in the wind, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.